So now we're going to look at Halachos on Vaera. Yep. Rav Nosson talks about the fact, Rav Nosson speaks about this idea that Moshe is the number between shemad and ratzon. Right? Shemad is 344. Right? Shemad means never a person who goes off to idolatry, bad places. Ratzon means desire. It's in the place of yearning for Hashem, the highest place. The bridge between these two aspects is Moshe, 345. Ratzon 346, Shemad is 344. So we have to be very careful with this bechirah of this shemad, because there's always a challenge of the bechirah that's called Bilam. Bilam wants a person to fall in all sorts of ways. A person to fall in monetary things. The money kills him. Literally kills himself for money. You know, will he succeed? Won't he succeed? Will he go anywhere? Will he go to this? You have no way of knowing. But he's trying, or he's not trying, or he's this thing, or he's that thing. And the mice of he forgets all about the tachlis, all about what it's really about, what the real purpose is. So, really, you have two aspects at all times. At all times, there's two different things that are happening. There's a struggle between the two inyanim. Right? On the one hand, you have to wake up your good desires. You have to wake up the good desires and be able to strengthen the aspect of ratzon. And every person has a choice. That's what Rav Nosson says. The Chatumim, as a word, the sorcerers in Mitzrayim can do the same thing Moshe could do, at least to a certain point, right? Do the same thing Moshe could do. So what does it mean they can do the same thing Moshe can do? So they can do the same thing Moshe could do because there's an aspect of bechirah, and we have a choice. And this is an aspect that the Rav Nosson speaks about. It's a tremendous power Hashem made. The person in his mind, he actually says this, the person visualizes something, Rav Nosson says, he can make it happen just because of the strength. He's a very strong, clear, crisp vision, and it can happen just through that. You have a koch. There's kochos that people have. We have a strength. We have a power. We have an ability. So you have to use that properly and not misuse it, and not allow you see somebody making it. Visualization, something happens, you're like, wow, he's not zoche, he's zoche, what is this, how is it? We don't really understand. And we have to be very, very careful to stick to the side of Moshe Rabbeinu. To realize that there's a bechirah, there's a murder, there's a very powerful bechirah. And every person has a choice. And Hashem gave us tremendous koach. What do you want to happen? That's what's going to, generally speaking, happen. That's generally speaking the way things work. So we have clues, Hashem sends us clues, and we have to try to figure out what those are and how to go with that and how to deal with that. But the first thing to understand is that there's a struggle. I need Moshe Rabbeinu. This bechirah of Moshe, I have to connect. Through the deeper work, whatever it is. The mice, I have to connect to this bechirah of Moshe. It's going to bridge me from shemad to ratzon. I don't want to be in the place of shemad. I don't want to be in the place of doubts or negativity. All of these things, all these attitudes are not positive and they're not good, and they sap me and they make it very difficult for me. So I need to be very, very careful from the bechirah of the Chatumim Mitzrayim. We have this tremendous capacity. Your understanding is a tremendously powerful tool. But we have to use it to serve Hashem. I can't use my understanding. I can't let the understanding take over, and that's all there is. I remember once had this conversation a long time ago. This student's mother, between him and his mother, he was still translating, and and I always bring this from Rav Nosson, this idea of she said, why do you believe in God if you don't see, it's not experiential exactly in a way that you can quantify it. It's not like, this shelf, there's a shelf here, you can quantify it, it's something which is not so clear. It's just like, we come from a place, there wasn't so much emunah, to say the least. So why would you believe? So it's all from the Rav Nosson brings based on the Yerushalmi, which is like, no person in life looks at something in solely a intellectual way, because otherwise you can't really do anything meaningful. For example, how do you get a job if you don't know if maybe they'll steal from you, maybe this you, maybe they'll that you? Forget about getting married. I told I was like, you're married, right? How are you married? You don't know. Elamah, you used your heart and your intellect to figure out that it's worthy for me to take this step. right? I use both. So when it comes to God, suddenly people want to like divest. It's like, what happened? It's like, again, you have to be very careful. These chatumim, this whole Indian, there's endless svaras. Bilam, we know, comes from the bechirah of Lavan. We were speaking about this a little bit last week, I think. Maybe not on tape, I don't remember. But the aspect of Lavan, Rav Nosson says, Lavan is Lev Nun. Lavan is the ability of the other side to make things, whitewash things, and say, it's all fine, it's no problem. I'll find a svara why this is okay and why that's okay. I'll find a reason for this and a reason for that. It's always a reason. No problem. Like, that's what Lavan is. And you have to use the opposite though. The opposite mahalach from Lavan is emes. To the gesher, to break through Lavan is emes, searching for the truth and searching. Hashem said Jamal to figure out what the truth is, to figure out how to go with the truth. I have to use, like Rav Nosson says, he says you have to have emunah. So a person who blows himself up in a bridge and kills people, whatever, he probably has some kind of level of emunah, right? He's doing something for faith. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. He has debts, who knows what's exactly in his mind. But like, bottom line is, a lot of such people could be, they have emunah. They're doing terrible things, but they have absolute faith. But they don't have a good faith. It's not a faith which you should have. It's not what one should have faith in. The person has to be zocha. So Rav Nosson says, we're lucky. We're Jewish. Hashem showed us the way of what we need to have emunah. He gave us the Torah. We know what to do and how to do. Otherwise, it's very hard. A person can like stumble around and he has no idea what to have emunah, what to do and how to do. So the general rule is you're supposed to use your sechel to figure out what's worthy to have emunah. Emunah is always where there is no yet sechel. It's not a matter of sechel. And there's a certain point, generally speaking, where the emunah is not only, you have to transcend. And you get to a place where I don't have any doubts about this. So the next thing, that's already difficult for me. And everyone has their level, like that's said, like your bechirah point. Everyone has their point where that's their bechirah, that's their difficulty. And we have to be zoche again. We have to make sure to try our best not to fall to the bechirah of shemad. No shemad. We don't do the shemad. Ratzon. I have these things. I have to use them. I have to harness them properly. Use the bechirah of Moshe Rabbeinu, and not go with the bechirah of the chatumim, all the negative things, all the negativity. I'll just say one more thing that Rav Zusha would explain that the reason why why were the Khartoumim not able? Why were the sorcerers, the magicians, not able to replicate Kinim? It's because it's smaller than a dosha, right? It's very, very small, and they couldn't work in such tiny, minuscule size. I guess couldn't make it so small. These Kinim, whatever it was. So the Rebbe Zusha says that indicates something important. When a person has a nava, when he diminishes himself, that's when all the negativity and the bad things don't have any power over you. He said, you're able to diminish yourself, you're able to remember Hashem, that's when the negativity can't take you. You have to be zocha to break the ego. Again, not in a sick way. Rav Nosson says, yeah, you have another psula. You feel like you're a goat, a calf, right? So you're some animal. Some animal, I have nothing, I'm nowhere. No, that's not Chai, not you. Well, Yosef, some people, right? Some say that's Yosef. Anyway, actually, yeah, the Indian, the Gurani. So the Indian of the if you're dumb like a dumb animal, that's not going to help. You have to know your koach. But on the hand, you have to understand. It's like Moshe Rabbeinu, he knows it from Hashem. Like Rav Nosson in the Quran, and years later, the Ryan Cutler basically says the same thing. That Moshe knew his greatness, but he also knew that it's all from Hashem. It's all a free gift from Hashem. So, Baruch Hashem, Hashem Zoche, to go with Moshe to ratzon.